Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video of Overwatch. In today's match, I'm going to be playing as Tracer. I got a little bit better at Tracer since the last time I did a video on her. The first video, it was like one of my first times with her, so it was pretty rough. Tracer is kind of misleading because she's sort of the poster character for this game. She's all over the promotional materials, and it seems like she's a character that says, at least the way they push her, as like, oh, this is a character you can start with. And I know a lot of people have been kind of trying to downplay that because she is a little bit more complicated of a character, but she's manageable. I mean, if you get used to how she works. There's a couple of things that are really important to playing Tracer. She is not like an offensive character like Reaper. Reaper is very... I kind of compare her to Reaper because Reaper can go behind enemy lines and take out support, which are basically just healers and just overall just characters that can really help a team push a point or hold a point. They're very important to take out, especially as offensive characters like Reaper and Tracer. Tracer is really, really mobile, and so is Reaper, but he can dodge a lot of stuff. Tracer's really weak. And so what that means is that Tracer has to be really focused on one target pretty much. I mean, she has short range, or sort of, I guess it's medium range, machine guns, and they don't deal a ton of damage per bullet, but if you can just sit there on somebody in a quick blast, you can take somebody out pretty quickly, especially if you shoot for the head. Now, one of the things you'll see in this video, like right here, is you want to get behind the enemy and try to catch them off guard, because that's how Tracer excels. So the things that Tracer really require are really good map knowledge. You need to have played the game, or at least kind of know how the maps work and function and flow. I know that the payload's going to keep moving forward and it's going to keep pushing them back. And it's important that I know that they're going to keep pushed back so I can be more confident and more aggressive coming up around this corner, because I know that as this payload moves, they're all going to be moving back, especially since I also know that we have a Reinhardt, because that's the other thing that's important about Tracer, is you need to understand your team composition, because if you have like a Reinhardt, you know that he's a big target because he's got that giant shield and everybody's going to be attacking him. And and it also means that the middle of, like, you can kind of jump out near him and not be targeted, or at least have less of a chance of being targeted. And you have more opportunities to go around the sides because you know that a lot of the enemy team is going to be focused on kind of breaking that Reinhardt shield, or at least breaking that whole kind of group of people, especially on a payload map. That's another thing important too, is understanding what type of objective you're trying to go for. I think Tracer's a little less effective when you're trying to like capture a point, because it'd be nice if she could actually like take the point, and she can be effective though. I guess she can be effective in a lot of different ways. But anyway, on this payload though, it was also important that I knew where I could go. This kind of ties into the map knowledge. You need to have a good kind of forward thinking of like, okay, I'm going to go attack this Hanzo, for example, even though I don't think I actually do that. I kind of just was harassing him a little bit by just shooting at him when I knew it wasn't going to do any damage to him, really. I kind of just wanted to keep in my head, and well, this is something you should do as you play Tracer, that you have a place to escape. So like I can run in here and then get out of the way, pop my bomb, and it was a terrible bomb. I didn't actually stick anybody, but I knew that I could get out and I was ready. So, and to know that, you have to also be able to manage your blinks, which is the three things in the middle, which let her blink. I think it recharges like every 3 seconds or something like that, or maybe 5. I don't remember how long it takes. It takes a little while, but you have 3. I try to keep 1 just in case I get attacked by like another Tracer or something, and then I try to have 2 because you can usually go in, take somebody out or start to take them out, and then blink through them and then take them out a little bit from behind. And if they're not dead by then, you have a 3rd one coming back to escape completely, or you can take them out and then move on. Like there's a rhythm to Tracer, and to get into that rhythm, you have to know the map, know your team, know where you can escape, and the enemy composition. There's just a lot going on when you're playing Tracer. She's not... I find that she is a character I'm better at after I've played the game a little bit for the day, because sometimes I'm a little rusty, and it's just easier to get into a flow with her if you kind of understand, again, how the game is flowing and everything. she's kind of a really internalized character, I guess. Like a lot of it has to be going on in your head, and execution is important, but also the reason Tracer is effective is because that you can keep her alive and keep her just annoying the team, because she's really a harasser. She does have the ability to pick off supports, and that is something that you should always be trying to do, because if you can take down, like, okay, that Discord orb just landed on me, if you could take down like a Zenyatta, that'll really help your team push forward. There's some problems with that, which I'll go into in a second, but you really want to go back and get supports. But if that's not really effective, because sometimes the supports are just really good, or they have like a Reinhardt on the enemy team and it's hard to get past that, the other thing that's important is just being annoying. So like, I can't believe I got that Tracer with the stick, but she gets me in a second, so it's kind of even. You can just harass people because you're annoying and you can't really get shot at very well because you can blink around. People are going to be like wasting time trying to deal with you because you're just super annoying. And if they let you stay, you will pick people off eventually. So eventually somebody's got to kill you, but it's tough with some team compositions. Like if they don't have like a Roadhog or something to catch you and hook you in, it's pretty hard for like let's say like a Hanzo trying to take out a Tracer, because like you can't hit his arrows on a moving target that quickly. Even though I've died by Hanzo quite a few times, there's a lot you can do to really annoy people. So it's hard. You kind of have to get into a mindset of like, okay, I'm not necessarily going to be getting like the play of the game because I'm murdering a bunch of people. I'm just going to be keeping people off of my team and opening up positions for them to move in if I take out their support. The one problem with Tracer, though, is that if you don't have a team that is like willing to push forward, and that kind of happened a little bit with this team, but also there was other problems where I'm sure I wasn't playing great, and there's other heroes doing things maybe mistimed and stuff like that. There's a ton that went wrong with this match probably, and we lose. But it's important that, or I guess it's important to note that if you don't have a team that is able to push through when you take out supports and stuff like that, it's going to be Tracer's not very effective. Like, she is annoying and she can be useful in really constrained maps like this, just in general. But if you're in like a bigger map and you're not able to like get your team to push through, basically if you're just not talking to your team, then, or they just don't notice, it's gonna be really tough to take like a point or to stop a team from attacking, because you have to be able to, like, if you kill a support and then there's that opening window where people can move in and there's not going to be any healing done in the enemy team, and if nothing happens, then the support just comes back and we're back at step one again. So that's something to keep an eye on when you're playing Tracer, is don't get, and this is just something important for the game in general, is just don't get stuck on playing, or like if your pushes aren't working, you just switch away from her and maybe go to like a Reaper, because a Reaper is a little bit more self-sustainable. He can get in there and get out, and he can also take out like tanks and stuff by himself. Tracer, that's pretty tough, especially since her attacks do very little damage to people who have armor, which is basically tanks. So especially like D.Va, and I go into the health, armor, and shield stuff in another video which you can go watch, which is very important to Tracer players. But yeah, so just don't be afraid to switch away from Tracer. But Tracer does have a lot of things you can get better at, and she doesn't really have any necessarily like bad maps or bad team makeups really. There are worse ones obviously, but there's a lot of ways you can use Tracer pretty effectively. I just know that like if things are going rough and your team isn't really quite able to fulfill like whatever openings you create, then you can switch I would switch away, because Tracer is not always the best, but she's very good. And I think if you're a little afraid of like dealing with her, I think it takes some time, but you get to the point where, because like one of the big things too is getting used to being able to blink in the direction you're actually moving, not the direction you're facing, which sounds like a simple thing when I say it, but if you really think about it and actually play her on like a training map, it's very important to be able to realize that. But once you get really good at Tracer, you start seeing everything, not in slow motion, but because she goes so fast, you get used to like dealing with her speed and thinking about the plays you're going to make, and less about like how you're going to be killing everybody. And that's ultimately what's really important about Tracer, is just playing the mind game and being a harasser and taking out supports and just being annoying. So that's Tracer in a nutshell. I think some advanced play from Tracer. I mean, we lost, but I still think there's some concepts that are important to learn. If you enjoyed this video, there's a bunch more I got on my channel of other characters, And yeah, I got more coming, so see you in the next video.